Today I'm going to show you how I changed the oil in my 2008 Toyota Prius. The first thing I do is I get all my material together. In this case, 4 quarts of oil, 5W30, a new oil filter, a funnel. Over here I have my kind of station, if you will, newspaper laid out on the floor, paper bag, plastic bag, the drained oil that I'll put in these empty quart containers after I get finished pouring that oil in, will go into this plastic bag inside the paper bag, and then eventually go into this paper bag. Underneath the vehicle, I've got my oil pan container to get all the drained oil. I have my socket wrench, and again I have paper all laid out underneath to keep the oil off the concrete floor. The next thing I do is under the hood, I take off the oil cap filler so I can eliminate any potential vacuum that would prevent the oil to drain freely out of the bottom of the engine oil pan. So the first thing I'm going to do now is remove the nut that at the bottom of the oil pan to drain the oil out. Just loosen it up a little bit. Getting the oil pan directly underneath, using my fingers here, just going to screw the bolt, making sure I don't drop it into the pan, drain pan. And now the oil is going to drain out. We're going to let that drain for a few minutes until all of the oil is out. And now what I like to do is, the paper towel right next to me, clean off the bolt and my fingers so I don't wind up dripping oil all over the concrete floor. Next, what I do is I get my new oil filter set up. Number one, I write the date on the side of the cylinder as well as the miles on the vehicle. That way if there's any doubt, the next 5,000 miles, I can always just look at the filter. Though it is hard to see, but it's kind of a common thing that's done in the aircraft industry for when you change oil in your aircraft, so it's a thing I like to do here as well. I have the cardboard box ready to put the used oil filter in. I'm going to have it right underneath the vehicle on the newspaper so I can minimize the amount of oil that's going to be dripping out of the oil filter, the old oil filter. So as you can see here, the oil is pretty much drained out of the pan, just an occasional drip. We're now going to move the oil pan a little bit further forward while still allowing that oil drip to still drain into the bin. We're going to position this drain pan bin right underneath the oil filter so I can pull that off and have all that excess oil that's in the filter drop right down into the pan as well. Now before moving that oil drain pan underneath the filter, I always try to make sure I can loosen the oil filter first, and I have. It's loose enough where I can now spin it off. So what I'm going to do is start to position my bucket, drain bucket underneath it, and spin it off. Turn it upside down to allow the oil to drain out of it before I remove it from underneath the vehicle. Again, I always have a paper towel right next to me so I can easily wipe it off. I also have my cardboard box from the new oil filter handy, so I can literally just put the oil filter directly into it. And that's about to do here. And again, that really helps to eliminate any oil getting on the garage floor. All right, so about ready to put the new oil filter on. What I like to do here is I take a little bit of oil on my finger, right from what I just drained, and I put it around the gasket seal, just so that when I get this up nice and tight, it prevents the seal from kind of twisting, flexing, and maybe even damaging it. And then you just kind of thread it on gently. You want to make sure you're not cross-threading, so it should screw on very easily. See, I'm just spinning it with my fingers here really loosely. I know it's on there without cross-threading. Now once it's snug and tight, I only turn it about another quarter of a turn. Not much more than that. That's all you need for a seal. And this will prevent it so that the next time you go to change the oil, you don't have a situation where you can't get the filter off. That is the most frustrating thing to have to deal with. So I always try to make sure I don't over tighten. Next thing I'm going to do is put in the bolt that basically seals up the oil engine pan. Just going to thread this on, finger thread it on to make sure it's not cross threaded. And again, you don't want to over tighten this. So it's first of all finger tight. Get my socket on it. And again, I don't over tighten it. So I'm using a funnel to pour the oil in. I'm checking in, it's 5W30, which is what they're recommended by the manufacturer. And this vehicle needs 3.9 quarts when you do an oil change. And now put the oil filler cap back on. And I don't know if you can see that on the stick, but we're just to the full spot, just a smidge over the full hole. So we're good. So now to go to the cleanup phase. I've got my oil funnel. I like to keep the white line here so I can easily see where I'm pouring into or how well it's filling up. And I just pour it from the pan into the funnel slowly, not too much at a time. Now I put my quarts of used oil into this plastic bag, which is in a paper bag. So I can take that to the town transfer station. They reuse this oil. Take my oil filter as well. Used oil filter, put that in as well. All right, so cleaning the funnel out first. Just using paper towels. Next, I use the newspaper itself to sop up any of the residual oil in the pan. And that's about it. The last thing to do is to reset the oil maintenance data warning indicator. And basically just look at the manual, follow the procedure there. It's kind of complicated to show here. So that's it. It took me maybe 30 minutes to change the oil, about $23 in material, and very easy to do. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on this video, and hit the little bell so you get notified of my next home related improvement video.